Well, Shabbat Shalom. Well, this week has been eventful, to say the least. Grindstone has deployed, and we're in Enid, Oklahoma. And of all of the things that have happened this week, it's no doubt in my mind that Yah is in control of all of it. From finding our fob in a Grace Mennonite church. These people have been absolutely amazing to us and have just opened their home to us and just allowed us a place to lay our heads and have been asking questions and sharing with us and all the things. And then we go today to get groceries, and we're looking for beef bacon because of course beef bacon is the most amazing thing in the world. So, but we found a little store that had some, and the gentleman that worked there, I believe his name was Matthew, he's telling us about this congregation that he goes to that are messianic. Excuse me. They're messianic, so they follow the whole Bible as well. So he was so excited to meet us. He was asking questions and talking, and he invited us over to their service tonight for an Erev Shabbat, and went over there and had a wonderful time. Just the nicest people, and we were able to share the word and share the mission of Grindstone and just love on them, and they in turn turned around and were loving on us. And so this is a little bit late getting out, but I do want to say thank you to them for their hospitality, and to Grace Mennonite Church for the love they've just showered us with. But let's go ahead and get into the Torah portion this week. It is Emor, which means speak. And today is May the 2nd, so we're going to start with Leviticus 21, verse 1. We're going to go through chapter 24, verse 23. Now that's going to start on page 127 in the scriptures. Then we'll move on to Ezekiel 44, verses 15 through 31, and that is on page 577. Then we'll go to Colossians chapter 2, verse 16 through chapter 3, verse 4, and that's going to be on page 1148. So let's go ahead and get started on page 127. Leviticus 21:1. Let me grab something to drink real quick. It has been such a long day. And Yahweh said to Moshe, speak to the priests, the sons of Aharon, and say to them, no one is to be defiled for the dead among his people, except for his relatives who are nearest to him, for his mother and for his father, for his son and for his daughter, and for his brother, and for his maiden sister who is near to him, who has had no husband. For her he is defiled. A leader does not defile himself among his people to profane himself. They do not make any bald place on their heads, and they do not shave the corners of their beards, and they do not make a cutting in their flesh. They are set apart to their Elohim, and do not profane the name of their Elohim, for they bring the fire offerings of Yahweh and the bread of their Elohim, and shall be set apart. They do not take a woman who is a whore, or a defiled woman, and they do not take a woman put away from her husband, for he is set apart to Elohim. and you shall set him apart for his being the bread of your Elohim. He is set apart to you, for I, Yahweh, setting you apart, am set apart. And when the daughter of any priest profanes herself by whoring, she profanes her father. She is burned with fire. And the high priest among his brothers, on whose head the anointing oil was poured, and who is ordained to wear the garments, does not unbind his head, nor tear his garments, nor come near any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or his mother, nor go out of the set-apart place, nor profane the set-apart place of his Elohim. For the sign of dedication of the anointing oil of his Elohim is upon him. I am Yahweh. And let him take a wife in her maidenhood, a widow or one put away, or a defiled woman or a whore. These he does not take, but a maiden of his own people he does take as a wife. And he does not profane his offspring among his people, for I am Yahweh who sets him apart. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aharon, saying, No man of your offspring throughout their generation who has any defect is to draw near to bring the bread of his Elohim. For any man who has a defect is not to draw near. A man blind, or one lame, or disfigured or disformed, a man who has a broken foot or a broken hand, or is a hunchback or a dwarf, or a man who has a defect in his eye, or eczema, or a scab, or is a eunuch. No man among the offspring of Aharon the priest who has a defect is to come near to bring the offerings made by fire to Yahweh. He has a defect. He does not come near to bring the bread of his Elohim. He does eat the bread of his Elohim, both the most set apart and the set apart, only he does not go near the veil or approach the slaughter place, because he has a defect, lest he profanes in my set apart places. For I am Yahweh who sets them apart. Thus Moshe spoke to Aharon and his sons and to all the children of Israel. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aharon and his sons, that they separate themselves from the set-apart offerings of the children of Israel, and that they do not profane my set-apart name in what they set apart to me. I am Yahweh. Say to them, Any man of all your offspring throughout your generations who draws near the set-apart offerings which the children of Israel set apart to Yahweh, while he has uncleanness upon him, that being shall be cut off from before me. I am Yahweh. Any man of the offspring of Aharon who is a leper or has a discharge does not eat the set-apart offering until he is clean. And whoever touches what is rendered unclean by a being, or a man who has had emissions of semen, or a man who touches any swarming creature by which he would be made unclean, or any being by whom he would become unclean, even any of his uncleanness, the being who has touched it shall be unclean until evening, and does not eat the set-apart offering, but shall bathe his body in water. And when the sun goes down, he shall be clean. And afterwards eat the set-apart offering, because it is his food. He does not eat that which dies, or is torn by a beast, becoming unclean by it. I am Yahweh. And they shall guard my charge, lest they bear sin for it and die thereby. When they profane it, I, Yahweh, set them apart. and no stranger eats the set-apart offering. A settler with the priests or a hired servant does not eat the set-apart offering. But when the priest buys a being with his silver, he does eat of it, and one who is born in his house does eat his food. And when a priest's daughter is married to a stranger, she does not eat of the set-apart offerings. But when a priest's daughter is a widow or put away, and has no child, and has returned to her father's house as in her youth, she does eat her father's food, but no stranger eats of it. And when a man eats the set-apart offering by mistake, then he shall give a set-apart offering to the priest, and add 1/5 to it. And let the priest not profane the set-apart offering of the children of Israel when they lift up to Yahweh, or allow them to bear the crookednesses of trespass when they eat their set-apart offerings. For I am Yahweh who sets them apart. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aharon and his sons, and to the children of Israel, and say to them, Any man of the house of Israel, or of the sojourners in Israel, who bring his offering for any of his vows, or for any of his voluntary offerings, which they bring to Yahweh as an ascending offering, for your acceptance, is a male, a perfect one from the cattle, from the sheep, or from the goats. Whatever has a defect you do not bring, for it is not acceptable for you. And when a man brings a slaughtering of a peace offering to Yahweh to complete a vow, or a voluntary offering from the cattle or the sheep, it is to be perfect, to be accepted. Let there be no defect in it. Those blind or broken or cut or having an ulcer or eczema or scabs, you do not bring to Yahweh, nor make an offering by fire of them on the slaughter place to Yahweh. As for a bull or a lamb that has any limb deformed or dwarfed, you do prepare as a voluntary offering, but for a vow it is not accepted. Do not bring to Yahweh what is bruised or crushed or torn or cut, nor do you do it in your land. And from a son of a foreigner's hands, you do not bring any of these as the bread of your Elohim, for their corruption is on them, and defects are in them. They are not acceptable for you. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, When a bull or a sheep or a goat is born, it shall be 7 days with its mother. And from the 8th day and thereafter, it is acceptable as an offering made by fire to Yahweh. But do not slay a cow or a sheep and its young on the same day. And when you slaughter a slaughtering of thanksgiving to Yahweh, slaughter it for your acceptance. It is eaten that same day. Leave none of it until morning. I am Yahweh. And you shall guard my commands and do them. I am Yahweh. And do not profane my set-apart name, and I shall be set apart among the children of Israel. I am Yahweh who sets you apart, who brings you out of the land of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim. I am Yahweh. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, The appointed times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as set-apart gatherings, my appointed times are these. 6 days work is done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest, a set-apart gathering. You do no work. It is a Sabbath to Yahweh in all your dwellings. These are the appointed times of Yahweh, set-apart gatherings which you are to proclaim at their appointed times. In the first new moon, on the 14th day of the new moon, between the evenings, is the Pesach to Yahweh. And on the 15th day of this new moon is the festival of Matzot to Yahweh. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the first day you have a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh for 7 days. On the 7th day is a set-apart gathering, and you do no servile work. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, When you come into the land which I give you, and shall reap its harvest, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priests, and you shall wave, and he shall wave the sheaf before Yahweh for your acceptance. On the morrow, after the Sabbath, the priest waves it. Excuse me. And on that day, when you wave the sheaf, you shall prepare a male lamb, a year old, a perfect one, as an ascending offering to Yahweh. And its grain offering, 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering made by fire to Yahweh, a sweet fragrance. And its drink offering, 1/4 of a hin of wine. And you do not eat bread or roasted grain or fresh grain until the same day that you have brought an offering to your Elohim, a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaves of the wave offering, you shall count for yourself 7 completed Sabbaths. Until the morrow after the 7th Sabbath, you count 50 days. Then you shall bring a new grain offering to Yahweh. Bring from your dwellings for a wave offering 2 loaves of bread of 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour. They are baked with leaven, first fruits to Yahweh. And besides the bread, you shall bring 7 lambs, a year old, perfect ones, and 1 young bull and 2 rams. They are an ascending offering to Yahweh with their grain offering and their drink offerings, an offering made by fire for sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And you shall offer 1 male goat as a sin offering and 2 male lambs, a year old, as a slaughtering of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them besides the bread of the first fruits as a wave offering before Yahweh besides the 2 lambs. They are set apart to Yahweh for the priests. And on the same day you shall proclaim a set-apart gathering for yourselves. You do no servile work on it, a law forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest of your land, do not completely reap the corners of your fields when you reap. And do not gather any gleaning from your harvests. Leave them for the poor and for the sojourner. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th new moon, on the first day of the new moon, you have a rest, a remembrance of Taruah, a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, On the 10th day of this 7th new moon is Yom HaKippurim. It shall be a set-apart gathering for you, and you shall afflict your being, and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And you do no work on that same day, for it is Yom Kippurim, to make atonement for you before Yahweh, your Elohim. For any being who is not afflicted on that same day, he shall be cut off from his people. And any being who does any work on that same day, that being I shall destroy from the midst of his people. You do no work, a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It is a Sabbath of rest to you, and you shall afflict your beings on the 9th day of the new moon at evening. From evening to evening you observe your Sabbath. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, On the 15th day of this 7th new moon is the festival of Sukkot, for 7 days to Yahweh. On the first day is a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work. For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On the 8th day there shall be a set-apart gathering for you, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. It is a closing festival. You do no servile work. These are the appointed times of Yahweh, which you proclaim as set-apart gatherings, to bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh, an ascending offering and a grain offering, a slaughtering and a drink offering, as commanded for every day. Besides the Sabbaths of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your voluntary offerings which you give to Yahweh, on the 15th day of the 7th new moon, when you gather in the fruit of the land, celebrate the festival of Yahweh for 7 days. On the first day is a rest, and on the 8th day a rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of good trees, branches of palm trees, twigs of leafy trees, and willows from the stream, and shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim for 7 days. And you shall celebrate. It is a festival to Yahweh for 7 days in the year, a law forever in your generations. Celebrate it in the 7th new moon. Dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native born in Israel dwell in booths, so that your generations know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Thus did Moshe speak of the appointed times of Yahweh to the children of Israel. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring to you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, to make the lamps burn continually. Outside the veil of the witness, in the tent of appointment, Aharon is to arrange it from evening until morning before Yahweh continually, a law forever throughout your generations. He is to arrange the lamps on the clean gold lampstand before Yahweh continually. And you shall take fine flour and bake 12 cakes with it, 2/10 of an ephah in each cake. And you shall set them in 2 rows, 6 in a row, on the clean table before Yahweh. And you shall put clear frankincense on each row, and it shall be on the bread as a remembrance portion, an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On every Sabbath he is to arrange it before Yahweh continually from the children of Israel, an everlasting covenant. And it shall be for Aharon and his sons, and they shall eat it in the set-apart place, because it is most set apart to him from the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, an everlasting law. And the son of an Israeli woman, whose father was a Mitzrite man, went out among the children of Israel, and the Israeli woman's son And a man of Israel strove in the camp, and the Israeli woman's son blasphemed the name and cursed. So they brought him to Moshe. Now his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri, of the tribe of Dan. And they put him under guard, that it might be declared to them at the mouth of Yahweh. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Bring the one who has cursed outside the camp, and all those who heard him shall lay their hands on his head, and all the congregation shall stone him. And speak to the children of Israel, saying, Anyone who curses his Elohim shall bear his sin. And he who blasphemes the name of Yahweh shall certainly be put to death, and all the congregation certainly stone him, the sojourner as well as the native. When he blasphemes the name, he is put to death. And a man who strikes the being of any man shall certainly be put to death. And he who strikes a beast repays it, body for body. And when a man inflicts a blemish upon his neighbor, as he has done, so it is done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he inflicts a blemish upon him, so it is done to him. And he who strikes a beast repays it, and he who strikes a man to death is put to death. You are to have one right ruling for the sojourner and for the native, for I am Yahweh your Elohim. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and they brought the one who had cursed outside the camp, and they stoned him with stones. And the children of Israel did as Yahweh commanded Moshe. Now we're going to turn to Ezekiel chapter 44, page 577. And we're going to start in verse 15 and read through 31. But the priest, the Levites, the son of Zadok, who guarded the duty of my set-apart place, when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall draw near to me to serve me, and shall stand before me to bring to me the fat and the blood, declares the Master, Yahweh. They shall enter my set-apart place, and they shall draw near to my table to serve me, and they shall guard my charge. And it shall be, when they enter the gates of the inner courtyard, that they put on linen garments, and no wool shall come upon them while they attend within the gates of the inner courtyard or within the house. They shall have linen turbans on their head and linen trousers on their bodies, that they not gird themselves with sweat. And when they go out to the outer courtyard, to the people, they shall take off their garments in which they attended, and shall leave them in the set-apart rooms, and shall put on other garments. And they shall not set the people apart in their set-apart garments. And their heads they shall not shave, nor shall they let their hair grow long. They shall keep their hair well trimmed. And no priest is to drink wine when he comes into the inner courts. And they do not take as a wife a widow or a divorced woman, but take maidens of the seed of the house of Israel, or widows of priests. And they are to teach my people the difference between the set apart and the profane, and make them known what is unclean and clean. And they are to stand as judges in a dispute, and judge it according to my right rulings, and they are to guard my Torah, my laws, and in all my appointed times, and set apart my Sabbaths. And they are not to defile themselves by coming near a dead man. Only for a father or a mother, or a son or daughter, for a brother or an unmarried sister, they defile themselves. And after his cleansing, they count 7 days for him. And on the day that he comes into the inner court of the set-apart place to attend in the set-apart place, he brings his sin offering, declares Yahweh. And it shall be to them for an inheritance. I am their inheritance, and you give them no possession in Israel. I am their possession. The grain offering and the sin offering and the guilt offerings they are to eat, and all that is dedicated to Israel is theirs. And the first of all, the first fruits of all, and every contribution of all your contributions belongs to the priests. And the first of your ground meal you give to the priest, so that a blessing rests on your house. The priests are not to eat any bird or beast found dead or torn to pieces. Now we're going to move on to Colossians chapter 2, page 1148. And we're going to start in verse 16. And we're going to read through chapter 3, verse 4. Let no one therefore judge you in eating or in drinking, or in respect of a festival or a new moon or Sabbaths, which are a shadow of what is to come, but the body of the Messiah. Let no one deprive you of the prize, one who takes delight in false humility and worship of messengers, taking his stand on what he has not seen, puffed up by his fleshly mind, and not holding fast to the head, from whom all the body, nourished and knit together by joints and ligaments, grows with the growth of Elohim. If then you died with Messiah from the elementary matters of the world, why, as though living in the world, do you subject yourself to dogmas? Do not touch, do not taste, do not handle, which are all to perish with use, according to the commands and teachings of men. These indeed have an appearance of wisdom in self-imposed worship, humiliation, and harsh treatment of the body, of no value at all, only for sanctification of the flesh. If then you were raised with Messiah, seek the matters which are above, where Messiah is, seated at the right hand of Elohim. Mind the matters above, not those on the earth, for you have died, and your life has been hidden with Messiah in Elohim. When the Messiah, who is our life, is manifested, then you also shall be manifested with him in esteem. And that is the end of the Emor Torah portion. I want to say thank you. I know there have been a couple of new people coming on lately, and I truly appreciate you coming and listening, sharing Yah's word with me. Have a wonderful Shabbat. truly find your rest in Him and live your life for Him, reaching out and doing for Him. Shabbat Shalom.